No time for chit-chat today. Welcome to Cybersecurity HQ's December 31st deep dive.
Right into it.
We're going straight into the thick of it with this Chinese hacker story.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. Treasury.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be giving people some pause.
Definitely concerning. Definitely concerning.
When you hear that.
Yeah. It's I mean, game changer, potentially.
Right,
I mean,
right.
granted, they say unclassified documents, but
Yeah.
still, this is a system that we consider highly secure.
Yeah, this is one of those things that makes you think back to SolarWinds.
Oh, for sure.
2020.
Yep.
When they're exploiting this trusted third-party software.
Absolutely.
And in this case, it was beyond trust
Right.
to gain access and get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they got away with an API key.
Yeah, and
Which is scary.
that's a big deal, for those listeners who maybe aren't so familiar with what an API key is.
Right.
It's essentially like a password
Mm-hmm.
to get access to certain parts of software or certain data.
Yeah, it's like a backdoor.
Yeah, you're handing over a key to your digital vault.
Exactly.
And the thing is, this wasn't just an isolated incident.
No,
This breach is part of a larger operation dubbed Salt Typhoon.
it's all Typhoon.
Yeah. And they've been targeting U.S. telecom companies.
So far, 9 companies that they know of.
At least 9 confirmed victims. Yeah.
But it sounds like that number could go up.
Oh, yeah, very likely. Very likely.
So, I mean, this is a coordinated campaign.
Highly coordinated, sophisticated espionage campaign.
Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of thing where you say,
Yeah.
if they can get into the U.S. Treasury,
Mm-hmm.
what else is vulnerable?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the question, right?
Right.
If they can breach this,
Yeah.
what else is out there?
Yeah.
I mean, this could have a massive impact
Yeah.
on international relations, on cybersecurity policy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is big.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
And it's not just these, nation-state actors that we have to worry about.
Of course not.
We've got ransomware still.
Still a huge problem.
Huge threat. And Cl0p and Black Basta still,
Mm-hmm.
wreaking havoc.
Making headlines, yeah.
Yeah, Cl0p is threatening to name over 60 victims.
Wow.
After exploiting that vulnerability in the Cleo file transfer software.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more on this Cleo software. It's
Yeah.
very widely used.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, this exploit could have a massive impact. I mean, and then they're saying we're going to name names
Right.
if you don't pay up,
That's like a double whammy.
publicly shaming them.
Yeah.
It's a very,
It's a pressure tactic.
it is. It's pretty ruthless, but it's clever.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And then there's Black Basta,
Right.
suspected in this ransomware attack on Ascension Health.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of people.
Yeah. Healthcare seems to be a particularly vulnerable target these days.
They've got those legacy systems
Right. Exactly.
that they're relying on.
Yeah.
And just so much sensitive data.
Oh, it's a treasure trove for these ransomware operators. Yeah. I mean, think about it. You've got disruption to patient care,
Yeah.
delayed treatments, compromised medical records.
Yeah.
I mean, the consequences could be disastrous.
And the cost of recovery.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
financially, this could cripple smaller healthcare providers.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've also got these other big players like Palo Alto Networks
Mm-hmm.
and Forfaith, both dealing with pretty serious vulnerabilities.
Yeah, Palo Alto had a 0-day scare with their firewall software.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Forfaith. They make industrial routers.
Yeah,
And they're facing this command injection vulnerability that's being actively exploited.
that's a bad one.
That one's particularly concerning, the default credentials being used to basically open the door wide open
Right.
for attackers, especially when you're talking about critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it really is.
And it just underlines the importance of good security hygiene and timely patching.
It makes you think how many devices are out there
Oh, I'm sure it's countless.
that are just waiting to be compromised.
Just ripe for the picking.
Yeah, because people aren't keeping up.
Exactly. Negligence, outdated security practices.
Yeah,
Scary to think about.
it is. It is.
And it's not just about patching vulnerabilities. We need to start thinking about the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
This intersection of AI and OSINT, that's a game changer.
Yeah, and that's something we need to talk about in more detail
Absolutely.
because that's a whole other can of worms.
It is. It is AI and OSINT.
Powerful combination
It is a powerful combination.
for defenders and attackers.
Yeah, both sides can really use that.
Exactly. So, on the one hand, you've got these AI-powered OSINT tools that can sift through these massive amounts of data,
Right.
identify threats, vulnerabilities, incredibly valuable for security researchers and analysts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like with any powerful tool,
There's always a flip side.
there's always a dark side.
Yeah.
So in the wrong hands, this AI-powered OSINT can be weaponized to create these highly targeted
Right. Sophisticated attacks?
Oh, yeah. It's like you're handing them the blueprint.
Exactly. Imagine an AI analyzing your social media posts, emails, browsing history,
Right.
create a personalized phishing lure
Yeah.
that's almost impossible to resist.
That's scary stuff.
That's the kind of thing that keeps me up at night.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically handing them the keys to the kingdom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just phishing either.
Right.
AI can be used to automate and enhance all sorts of attack techniques.
Right. So malware development,
Absolutely.
social engineering.
You name it.
I mean, it just seems like AI is kind of a game changer in a bad way when it comes to cyber warfare.
Absolutely. It's a new era of cyber warfare, and it requires us to really rethink our cybersecurity.
Yeah, how do we shift paradigms?
Yeah, what are the new paradigms?
To counter that.
We need new strategies, new tools to counter these AI-powered threats, and we need them now.
Yeah, so what can organizations do?
Well, I mean, it's multifaceted. You got to invest in AI-powered security tools ourselves.
So fighting fire with fire.
In a way, yeah. I mean, leverage threat intelligence.
Right.
Stay ahead of those tactics.
Both.
Robust security awareness training programs.
For employees.
For employees, for everyone. Make sure everyone's on the same page.
Right. And speaking of threat intelligence.
Yes.
Let's move over and talk about these recent attacks on Cisco and General Dynamics.
Two big names.
I mean, these are industry leaders.
Absolutely.
But they fell victim to some attacks recently.
They did. So Cisco confirmed a second batch of data leaked by hackers from their public-facing dev hub. Now they claim no systems were breached.
Right.
But the data that was exposed includes source code and configuration files.
So even though it's not a system breach,
right,
it's still a security lapse.
It is, and that data is extremely valuable to attackers.
Yeah, because they could find vulnerabilities in that.
Absolutely, reverse engineer it, find exploits.
Then they use those exploits in other attacks. Right. So it raises concerns about their security practices.
Right.
And highlights the importance of protecting all data.
Right. Not just mission-critical stuff.
Exactly. Even if it seems insignificant,
right,
you have to protect it.
Protect it all.
Protect it all.
And then you've got General Dynamics.
Right.
Where 37 employee accounts were compromised.
Phishing attack.
For a phishing attack.
On their benefits portal.
Classic
phishing attack.
Yeah.
And even a major defense contractor.
Right. You would think they would be more savvy.
You would think, but it just goes to show.
You can get anybody.
Anyone can fall victim.
With a good phishing attack.
Exactly. Highlights the need for security awareness training.
Yeah, constantly.
Continuous
training.
And good email security solutions.
Right.
Got to have those in place.
Yeah, because it seems like nobody is immune.
No.
From government agencies to...
Tech giants.
Defense
contractors.
Everybody.
It's a reminder that cybersecurity is a constant battle. It is.
And we always have to be adapting.
Yeah.
To stay ahead of the curve.
Stay vigilant.
Absolutely.
Well, at least there is some good news.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. government is taking steps to protect personal data from foreign adversaries.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So they're limiting the sale of this bulk data by brokers to these foreign entities.
Okay, that's a welcome development.
It's a step in the right direction.
It is. Yep. It's long overdue.
It is long overdue.
We'll have to see how effectively it's enforced, though.
Right. Enforcement's always the question.
It is.
But, you know, at least they're acknowledging the threat.
Absolutely. Recognizing the threat of data misuse, foreign espionage.
And they're doing something about it.
Taking action, yeah.
Yeah. And then there was also the arrest of a LockBit developer.
Oh, that's right.
In Israel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a significant victory.
It is.
It sends a message.
That law enforcement is not messing around.
They are not messing around.
Yeah.
They're going after these cyber criminal groups.
Yeah. They might deter some people.
I mean, potentially, but the ransomware landscape is so vast.
It is.
Constantly evolving. New groups will pop up.
They'll just take their place.
Exactly. The existing ones will just adapt their tactics.
Yeah.
So we can't afford to be complacent.
Never let your guard down.
Never let your guard down.
Right. Speaking of adaptation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that Sophos firewall vulnerability.
Oh, right. That was recently patched.
Yeah, SQL injection vulnerability.
That's a bad one.
It was a critical one.
Yeah, could have allowed remote code execution.
It was a big one.
It was a big one, but at least Sophos addressed it quickly.
Which is good.
Which is good. Highlights the importance of timely patching, vulnerability management.
Right.
Gotta stay on top of it.
But it also shows the need for a multi-layered approach.
Absolutely.
Security.
You can't rely on just one product or one vendor.
Diversity is key.
Diversity is key, yeah.
Kind of like investments.
Exactly. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. Diversify your portfolio.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Well, let's turn our attention now to the financial sector.
Okay.
We've got this North Korean hacking group. Trader, yeah. Those guys.
Stole $308 million in Bitcoin.
Wow, that's a big haul.
That's a lot of Bitcoin.
It is.
From that Japan-based cryptocurrency platform.
Jinko.
Yeah.
Yeah, state-sponsored cybercrime is really becoming more and more brazen.
Yeah, North Korea is a big player in this.
They're using stolen cryptocurrency
Right.
to fund their activities.
Yeah, all those illicit activities.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting more sophisticated.
At an alarming rate.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is scary. It really is.
Makes you wonder about the security
of the entire global financial system.
Yeah, what can be done to counter this threat?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, it's complex.
It is. Sanctions haven't really worked.
Yeah.
Diplomatic efforts, not so much.
Not really.
Hey,
It's going to require a coordinated global response. Yeah. That's tough to get.
Very tough.
But the stakes are high.
Extremely high. The security of the global financial system is at risk.
Yeah.
And we need to develop new strategies, new tools.
Yeah, new tools, new approaches.
To counter it.
Yeah, it can't just be reactive anymore.
No, we need to be proactive.
We have to be proactive.
Focus on threat intelligence sharing.
Right.
International collaboration.
Working together.
Working together.
Yeah.
Developing robust defenses
Right.
against these evolving threats.
That's right, because they're constantly evolving.
Always evolving.
And they're only going to get worse.
Unfortunately, that's the trend.
And that brings us to our final story for today.
Okay.
The ransomware attack on Ascension Health, potentially orchestrated by Black Basta.
Right. Huge impact.
Millions of people affected by this.
Millions of people, sensitive medical data exposed.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that healthcare organizations
are prime targets.
Prime targets for cyber criminals.
Legacy systems.
Yeah.
Treasure trove of data.
A lot of sensitive data there.
I mean, it's a lucrative target
It is.
for ransomware operators.
It is, and I mean the impact on patient care.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It really is, disrupted systems.
Right.
Delayed treatments.
Potentially compromised medical records.
Yeah.
I mean, the consequences could be disastrous.
Yeah, and not to mention the financial implications.
Oh, absolutely. The cost of recovery could be crippling.
Especially for those smaller healthcare providers.
Especially for the smaller ones, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, what can healthcare organizations do?
Well, they need to start by recognizing that cybersecurity is not just an IT issue. It's a patient safety issue.
Yeah, it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than IT.
Yeah.
So they need to prioritize cybersecurity investments.
Oh, yeah.
Implement robust security protocols.
Right.
Conduct regular security awareness training for all staff.
Yeah, create that culture of security.
Exactly. Everyone needs to understand their role in protecting that sensitive data.
Yeah.
Protecting those critical systems.
And they need to embrace collaboration.
Oh, absolutely.
Share threat intelligence.
Sharing is caring.
It is in this case.
It is best practices
Yeah.
within the healthcare sector.
So that they can stay ahead of those emerging threats.
Exactly. Got to stay ahead of the game.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the December 31st cybersecurity landscape,
Okay.
what's the key takeaway?
I mean, the digital world is a complex battlefield.
It is.
And the attacks are becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Relentless.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Nation-state espionage, ransomware,
AI-powered threats.
AI. The stakes have never been higher.
They have it.
But by staying informed,
Proactive. Yeah.
collaborative, we can mitigate these risks.
We can.
And build a more secure future.
Cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility.
It is.
From government agencies to healthcare providers.
Tech companies.
Individual users.
Everyone's got a role to play.
We all have a role to play in this. In safeguarding our digital world.
Cybersecurity HQ.
Cybersecurity HQ.
Your hub for jobs, reports, news.
And a newsletter.
Read by over 70,000 professionals weekly.
I mean, it's been a whirlwind.
It has been.
The cybersecurity news today.
So much to unpack.
Yeah, I mean, from espionage.
Nation-state level stuff.
To ransomware. Critical vulnerabilities.
Ray.
The influence of AI.
Yeah, it's Huh.
I mean, it's a dynamic threat landscape out there.
It is.
It really is, and so much of this stuff is interconnected.
That's what strikes me. Yeah, it's like this convergence of threats.
Right. Nation states.
Cybercrime.
Cybercrime, ransomware group.
Using espionage tactics
Yeah.
and AI. Well, both sides.
Both sides using this.
Attackers and defenders. It's a real mixed bag.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at all of this news, what really stands out to you is the most concerning.
That U.S. Treasury hack, that's unsettling.
Yeah.
I mean, it really shows
How capable these nation-state actors are.
Exactly, and their willingness to target, critical infrastructure.
Critical infrastructure, and the fact they got that API key
Yeah.
from Beyond Trust, a trusted vendor.
That's scary.
That's the supply chain.
Yeah.
I mean, no system is truly impenetrable.
And what are the consequences?
Oh, they're huge.
International relations.
Economic stability.
Yeah.
National security.
This could impact all of that.
Absolutely. And it erodes trust.
And our digital system.
And everything.
Yeah.
And it leads to more regulations.
Yeah, more scrutiny.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of regulations,
Yeah.
at least the U.S. government's taking some steps
Oh, yeah.
to protect that data,
Okay.
that personal data,
Yeah.
from foreign adversaries.
What are they doing?
So they're limiting that sale of bulk data by brokers
Okay.
to foreign entities.
I mean, it's a start.
It's a positive step.
It is.
It's long overdue.
Absolutely. Data is a weapon.
It is. It's valuable.
In the digital age, yeah, we need to protect it.
National security.
By enforcement.
That's always the question. Yeah, how effective is it going to be?
Right. We need to see action.
Concrete actions.
Penalties to deter those bad actors.
Absolutely.
And, there was that arrest of that LockBit developer.
And right, in Israel.
Yeah. I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
It is. It shows they're making progress.
Law enforcement.
Combating these ransomware groups.
It's a victory. But
It's a small victory.
yeah,
It's not going to disrupt the whole ransomware landscape.
they're going to adapt.
Oh, they're resilient, these groups.
Yeah.
They'll regroup. They'll rebrand.
We'll find a way.
They'll find a way. They always do.
So we need a multi-pronged approach
Absolutely.
to tackle this.
Law enforcement, security measures,
Collaboration.
international collaboration.
Disrupt their finances.
Hit them where it hurts, yeah.
Right. And then you've got that North Korean heist.
Oh, yeah, the Jinko one.
$308 million in Bitcoin.
That's a lot of Bitcoin.
It's a lot of money. And it shows state-sponsored cybercrime is
On the right.
getting more sophisticated.
Yeah, North Korea is a major player
And that raises questions about the whole security.
of the global financial system.
Right. Cryptocurrency platforms.
What can we do about it?
I mean, it's a complex issue.
It is.
It's a tough one.
Sanctions haven't worked?
Diplomacy? Not so much.
No, it's a challenge.
It's a global challenge.
It is.
And the stakes are high.
The security of the global financial system.
It's all at risk.
We need new strategies,
yes,
new
and
ways of thinking about this.
To counter this emerging threat,
And then there's healthcare.
healthcare, always a target.
Prime target.
That Black Basta attack on Ascension Health.
Millions impacted.
Millions sensitive medical data.
Exposed. Yeah, those legacy systems.
They make them vulnerable.
So much sensitive data
So much data. It's a gold mine.
for these attackers.
It's a treasure trove for them.
And the consequences.
Disrupted systems, treatments delayed,
Medical records compromised.
could be disastrous.
Disaster.
And the financial implications.
Oh, they're huge.
Huge. The cost of recovery.
Especially for smaller providers.
It could be crippling.
They might not recover.
So what can they do to protect themselves?
Prioritize cybersecurity.
Yeah.
It's a patient safety issue.
It's not just an IT issue.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
Robust security protocols.
Okay.
Train your staff.
Create that culture of security.
Awareness is key. Everyone needs to be on board.
And collaborate, share information.
Share those best practices.
Yeah.
Stay ahead of the game.
So, to wrap up today,
Okay.
what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
It's evolving.
The landscape is evolving.
The threats are getting worse.
They're sophisticated.
They're connected.
We need to be proactive.
You can't just react.
Multi-layered approach.
The cybersecurity.
Invest in security.
Stay informed.
Collaborate.
Recognize that this is everyone's problem.
We all have a role to play.
Cybersecurity HQ.
Your hub for jobs, reports, news,
And our newsletter.
read by over 70,000 professionals.
Every week.